Hello and welcome to the session on Project Procurement Management. Procurement comes into picture when there is an involvement of a third party who would be catering to at least one of the resource requirements of a project. Procurement management deals with the best practices that should be followed in such situations. In this session, we will learn what procurement management in a project is and why it is important for a project. We will learn how procurement management is achieved in a project. Then we will move on to learn the different processes in procurement management, that is, plan procurement management, conduct procurements, control procurements, and close procurements. At the end of each process, we will see some sample questions based on the actual PMP format. Now, let us understand what project procurement management is. As per PMBOK guide, project procurement management includes the processes that are necessary to purchase or acquire products, services, or results needed from outside the project team. The organization can either be the buyer or seller of the products, services, or results of a project. The project procurement management processes involve agreements, including contracts, which are legal documents between a buyer and a seller. A contract represents a mutually binding agreement that obligates the seller to provide something of value. Example: specified products, services, or results, and obligates the buyer to provide monetary or other valuable compensation. An agreement can be simple or complex and may reflect the simplicity or complexity of the deliverables or required effort. Now, why do we manage procurement in a project? Some projects may need to acquire some resources from outside the project team or the organization. In such cases, the procurement management processes help to determine the processes and the best practices that should be made use of to make sure the procurement happens smoothly. Not understanding the different ways to contract could result in unnecessary risk for the project. In procuring a resource from a third party requires a lot of legal documents to be made, as well as a contract to be made with the third party. If the project manager is not aware of the different ways in which the contract can be made, it would end in costing huge losses or posing unnecessary risk for the project as well as the organizations. So procurement management is done in a project to protect the project from such unnecessary risks. Now, how do we manage procurement? Procurement management is carried out in a process through four tightly coupled processes. These processes are: first, plan procurement management. It is the process of documenting project procurement decisions, specifying the approach, and identifying the potential sellers. Second, conduct procurements. It is the process of obtaining seller responses, selecting a seller, and awarding a contract. Third, control procurements. It is the process of managing procurement relationships, monitoring contract performance, and making changes and corrections as appropriate. And last, close procurements. It is the process of completing each project procurement. Out of these four processes, plan procurement management is a part of planning process group. Conduct procurements is a part of executing process group. Control procurements is a part of monitoring and controlling process group, and close procurement is a part of closing process group. Now, what is a contract? A contract represents a mutually binding agreement that obligates the seller to provide specified products or services and obligates the buyer to provide monetary or other valuable compensation. Contracts can be oral as well as written, but in the business world, the written contract is preferred. Any changes to the contract must be formally approved, controlled, and documented. Like any other change requests, changes to the contract should also be taken through the change control process.